Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Great to have you with us, whether you're a regular listener or maybe this is your first time tuning in.
Yeah,
Just
welcome.
a reminder, this isn't your typical podcast chat. Think of it more like a really focused session. We're digging into info specifically for, those starting or growing a Christmas light installation business.
Exactly. We use AI analysis to sift through a ton of information, pulling out the key stuff. So it's like a shortcut for you, getting right to the heart of what
Cuts
matters.
through the noise, basically.
Precisely. And for anyone new, that's kind of our thing here at the Deep Dive. The AI gives us an objective look at industry topics.
And if you have a specific tool or trend or anything, really, you want us to look into using this approach.
Yeah, definitely drop it in the comments. Seriously, your feedback helps us figure out what to tackle next.
So today, our mission is pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We want to shine a light, pun intended maybe, on why getting the right insurance is absolutely fundamental, not just like a nice to have.
It's foundational. We're going to unpack the risks involved and the kinds of insurance that really protect your business, your hard work.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The risk landscape. Because when you're up on a ladder, making things look festive.
Yeah, you're probably not thinking about liability lawsuits.
Exactly. But the risks are definitely there. It's just, well, part of the job. Understanding them is
Yeah.
key to building something that lasts.
And it's interesting, the analysis really highlights the range of things that can, go wrong.
Like what?
Well, the data points to a pretty clear example.
Mm.
Imagine using the wrong electrical fittings. Seems small, maybe, but it could lead to a fire.
Oof. Okay.
And that fire doesn't just damage your client's property. What if it spreads next door?
All right, then you've got a much bigger problem. Multiple properties, potentially.
Exactly. And that's where things get really messy and, frankly, potentially ruinous financially.
Because those neighbors, they're probably going to sue, right?
Yeah.
Our analysis points that way.
Highly likely. You're suddenly facing not just repair costs, but huge legal fees, maybe massive judgments. It could absolutely sink a new business.
Before it even gets going.
Precisely. So insurance, at its heart, it's doing two things. Yes, it's about the money to fix things.
But maybe more importantly.
It's that shield against the liability claims. It protects you from those catastrophic events that could just shut you down for good.
Okay, so that makes sense. It's essential. For someone starting out, where's the first place they should look? What's the absolute must-have?
Well, the analysis consistently points to one thing as the starting point: general liability insurance. Think of it as like the cornerstone coverage for a Christmas light business.
The bedrock. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's your main safety net for claims from third parties. So not you or your employees, but clients, visitors, the public.
And what kind of things does that typically cover?
So the standard policies we looked at cover several key areas. First, bodily injury.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, imagine a tech leaves a ladder lying around during setup. Someone trips, falls, gets hurt. Pretty common scenario, unfortunately, based on incident reports.
Yeah, I can see that happening easily.
General liability would typically cover the medical costs, maybe rehab associated with that injury. Without insurance, those costs fall directly on you.
Ouch. Okay, so bodily injury. What else?
Property damage, that fire example we talked about.
Right, the faulty wiring.
General liability would likely cover the cost to repair or replace the damaged property, your client's house, the neighbor's fence, whatever got burned.
Makes sense.
Then there's medical payments coverage, often smaller limits, but it can help handle minor injuries quickly, maybe avoid a bigger lawsuit.
Kind of a goodwill thing almost.
Sort of, yeah. And crucially, it covers legal defense costs and judgments.
Which, as you said, can be enormous, even if you win the case, eventually.
Absolutely. The cost of just defending yourself can be crippling for a small operation.
Okay. Anything else under that general liability umbrella?
Yeah, one more category. Personal and advertising injury. Sounds a bit different.
Less about ladders and wires.
Right. But our analysis of business disputes shows it's relevant. Like, say a competitor claims your cool new logo looks too much like theirs and sues you for trademark infringement.
Oh, okay. So not physical damage, but still a legal fight.
Exactly. General liability can often help cover the legal cost for that kind of dispute, too.
Wow, okay. So general liability sounds pretty comprehensive, definitely the foundation. But is it enough on its own? Our review suggested maybe not always.
That's a really sharp point. GL covers those third-party risks, But what about your stuff, your business assets?
Like the lights themselves, the tools,
Exactly. That's where commercial property coverage comes in. It protects your business, property lights, cords, timers, tools, equipment if they get damaged or stolen.
which is crucial, especially if you've invested a lot in inventory, right?
Absolutely. Think about storing all that gear in the off-season. If there's a fire or a break-in at your storage unit, this coverage helps you replace it.
Okay, good point. What about getting to the jobs? Everyone's using trucks or vans.
Non-negotiable. Commercial auto insurance. Your personal car insurance. It almost certainly won't cover you if you get in an accident while driving for work purposes.
Big gap there.
Huge gap. Commercial auto covers damage to your work vehicle in a collision.
And you mentioned comprehensive policies earlier.
Yes, the analysis highlighted those too. Comprehensive goes beyond just crashes. It covers theft of the vehicle, vandalism, maybe damage from a hailstorm, stuff that happens when you're not driving.
Okay.
And critically, it also covers damage you might cause to other vehicles or injuries to other people if you're at fault in an accident while working. It protects you from that liability aspect on the road.
Got it. So protects your vehicle and protects you if you cause an accident.
Exactly. Now let's loop back to that fire scenario again. Yeah, equipment is damaged, maybe your office space. But what about the fact that you just can't operate for a while?
Yeah, you lose income. Bills still need paying, though.
Precisely. And that's where business income coverage, sometimes called business interruption insurance, is so important.
How does that work?
It basically helps replace the income you lose because your business operations are suspended due to a covered event, like that fire. It can cover ongoing expenses like rent, loan payments, payroll even, while you're getting back on your feet.
Wow, that could be a real business saver.
It absolutely can. It bridges that gap when revenue stops but costs don't.
Okay, so we've got liability, property, auto, business income. Anything else particularly relevant for installing lights? The actual work itself seems, well, tricky sometimes.
Yes, definitely. That brings us to professional liability insurance. You might also hear it called errors and omissions, or
Errors
EO.
and omissions, okay.
This is really vital for service businesses, especially ones like this where mistakes can happen, even with skilled people.
How's it different from general liability then? GL covers accidents, right?
Right. GL is more about accidental property damage or bodily injury, like the ladder falling. Professional liability, or E&O, is specifically about mistakes or negligence in the professional services you provide.
Ah, okay, so like if the way you installed the lights itself caused damage later,
Yeah.
not just an accident during the setup.
Exactly. Maybe the installation method damages the roof line over time, or an oversight in the electrical plan causes recurring issues. If your workmanship causes financial harm or injury to the client due to an error or omission, E&O is designed to cover that. Our analysis shows this is a key risk area.
Okay, that distinction is important. Now, lots of these businesses, especially starting out, are run from home, right? Seasonal stuff often starts small.
Very common, and a potential pitfall insurance-wise.
How so?
Your standard homeowners or renters insurance policy. It's very unlikely to cover business-related incidents that happen on your property.
So if a client comes to your house to discuss a project, slips on your icy porch,
Your homeowner's policy might deny the claim because it was related to your business, not just personal life. You really need to look at commercial coverage, even if you're home-based.
good to know. That's easily overlooked. Okay, let's talk practicalities. Cost. What are we looking at, ballpark?
Well, the analysis suggests that for a typical $1 million general liability policy, a Christmas light business might expect to pay somewhere between, say, $400 and $700 per year.
Okay, that gives a rough idea, but I'm guessing it varies a lot.
Oh, absolutely. That's just an average. Your actual cost depends on, your specific location, how high you set your deductible, how many employees you have, the coverage limits you choose, lots of factors.
So you need to get specific quotes for your business.
Definitely. And one option to potentially streamline things and maybe save some money is a business owner's policy, or BOP.
A BOP. What's that?
It's basically a package deal. It bundles several key coverages together, often general liability, commercial property, and business income insurance into one single policy.
And that's usually cheaper than buying them all separately.
Often, yes. It's designed for small to medium-sized businesses and can be a really cost-effective way to get broad protection.
Makes sense. And where do people actually get this insurance?
You've basically got two main routes these days. There are the traditional insurance companies, the big names with local agents you can talk to.
The brick and mortar guys.
Right. And then you have a growing number of online insurance providers. Companies that operate mostly digitally, often using tech to make things quicker, maybe offer competitive pricing.
So worth checking out both options, probably.
Absolutely. Get quotes, compare coverage, see what fits your needs, and budget best.
Okay, so insurance is obviously crucial. But the analysis also mentioned other things businesses can do to protect themselves, right? Insurance isn't the only thing.
That's a vital point. Insurance is your safety net, but you also want to try and prevent problems in the first place or limit your exposure.
Like what kind of things?
Well, using strong, clear contracts with your clients is huge. Spell out the scope of work, responsibilities, payment terms. It prevents so many disputes.
Just having it in writing.
Exactly. Also, setting up your business structure properly. Forming an LLC or a corporation.
Why is that important?
It helps separate your personal assets, your house, your savings from your business debts and liabilities. If the business gets sued, they generally can't come after your personal stuff. It creates a legal shield.
Okay. That's a big one.
Yeah, and just basic stuff too, like keeping up with your business licenses and permits, and really maintaining that separation between business and personal finances, what they call maintaining the corporate veil.
So it's a whole picture. Insurance is key, but these other steps support it.
Precisely. Think of it layers of protection. Insurance handles the big financial hits, while good contracts and structure help minimize the chances of those hits happening or limit their impact.
Right. So wrapping up then,
Yeah.
as you're planning those amazing light displays, getting ready for the season, remember that building a solid, secure business is just as important. And investing in the right insurance. It's not just an expense line. It really is an investment in your business's future, its stability.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot today, really an overview based on the analysis why insurance matters so much, the main types to think about. We really hope this deep dive gave you some clarity.
Yeah, hopefully empowered you to take those next steps to protect your venture.
And we want to know what else is on your mind. What insurance questions do you still have?
Or what other parts of running a Christmas light business are you grappling with? Drop your questions, your thoughts in the comments. It really does help us figure out what to dive into next.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. Our aim is always to give you useful, actionable info quickly, help you feel more informed.
Definitely. So until our next deep dive, keep building, keep learning, and make sure your business shines brightly and safely.